Welcome, welcome everybody to this week's Cafecito Power Break. I'm very excited for today's episode. This is going to be a powerful conversation. And for those of you who missed us last week, we were at Latitude last week. We were going to do a Cafecito from there, pero with the agenda, that kind of didn't happen. So we apologize for not being live last week. But this week, I'm excited to be with Magda. And I met her at the Latitude Gala. And it was meant for us to be sat next to each other and for us to have a conversation. And I'm so in love with your story and your energy. And I can't wait for you guys to meet her. So welcome, Magda. Tell us a little bit about you. Give us like a high level overview.
Thank you, Sandra. Well, my name is Magda Esola. I live here in Charlotte, North Carolina. I am originally from Nicaragua. I have been married for 29 years and I have 3 children, aged 27, 22, and 17. And I am currently the Vice President of Sales and Marketing for Brookline Homes, as well as it was the September 27 that it was announced that I am the first president-elect for my local association, first Latina to ever win the president-elect position in over 105 years. So I'm super excited to be here.
Oh my gosh, congratulations. That is awesome. That is so great. That is so great. I love that you gave that overview, because when we think about who we are and where we are, and those achievements are so amazing. So we all, as Latinas, right, we struggle with that path of how do we get there? So it wasn't always like that for you.
That's
right? So take us back to the beginnings of how you metaphorically and literally crossed the river to come into the United States.
Absolutely, Sandra. Once again, thank you so much for the opportunity to talk to your audience. So I came to the United States when I was 18 and a half years old, and came as we shared over dinner at that gala that was meant to be across the river, the Rio Grande River, and came with 5 of my siblings and my mom. It was an adventure that started really in 1984 when I was 14 years old. And we left Nicaragua to Honduras. And I lived in Honduras 4 years. So I finished my high school in Honduras. And then from Honduras, we took a plane to Mexico. And literally, we got into a bus to the borderline and came to this country undocumented with nothing. When I like to say nothing in my pockets, other than dreams and desires that come into the US, anything is possible. We knew, we came into, the perceiving that American dream. And it was quite an adventure when we crossed the border with nothing. We came to a shelter and we were there for about 3 days. Then we moved to New Jersey where my family was awaiting. So humble beginnings. I started, with minimum wage. At that time, I believe in 88, 89, the minimum wage was around $4 an hour. Us being undocumented, we were being paid $2 an hour. You know how that goes. Yeah. And 6 siblings between the age of 19 and 14. Everybody was working. My mom was working. We live in a 2-bedroom apartment. Three years later, after we came to the U.S., we saved enough money, about $30,000, to purchase a home. And that was one of our achievements. We wanted to go and have and own a home. And the house was $160,000. I vividly remember going to that closing, that excitement. And the interest rate back then was around 8.5%, which is still higher than today, that the rates are today. And so we purchased that home. The 7 of us were on title because we couldn't qualify. We have to put everybody's income to be able to qualify for this home. And we sold that home about 3 years later at $500,000. And that's where our financial freedom started. So we all bought homes. My siblings, they were younger than me. They are younger than me. They went to school. They graduated college at that time. Like, I was an adult already. So I couldn't go to school. There was, today, thank God we have all those programs, No Child Left Behind. But when I came, you couldn't go to school if you were undocumented. So I worked in different jobs. And when when I was in my late 20s, I saw that ad on the paper that, like I said, that ad really changed my life about becoming a realtor. And I was an administrator assistant making about $40,000 per year with a family already. And I saw an ad on the paper about unlimited potential, becoming a realtor. And I got very motivated, went to the seminar, and the rest is history. I became a realtor. And within 3 years, I became the number one realtor in the office. Then that is all happening in New Jersey. And then we moved to Charlotte, North Carolina, and I got into the new construction industry. And as Latinas and as immigrants, we have that drive that I cannot teach, Sandra. No, and now I am in leadership, and I have people that work with me, and I lead. But regardless of you having that inside, that is something that you cannot teach. And I think it has to do a lot with where you come from, your dreams and aspirations, and what do you want, being very clear on what you want. And we knew coming to the United States, there was an abundance here, and we wanted a little piece of it. And we knew that working hard and having good work ethics and doing what you said you were going to do, keeping your word, it will get us there. And that's how I got where I am. I was considered for many years when I was in production. I don't sell homes anymore. I'm in leadership, so I'm the vice president of sales, like I said before. But when I was in production, my number one goal was to help as many people as I could. I never said I'm going to sell as many homes as I can, because I see sales as helping people. So it's how many people can I help achieve that American dream that was given to us, that I wanted to do that for other families. And that's how I end up being number one in the state in new home sales for the past 7 or 8 years. So it's been a wonderful life since I'm here in the States. Wasn't easy. It was not easy. Everything requires work, determination, inspiration, motivation, but and the wanting to do things. But it was not easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but it is possible. I am the living proof.
Yeah, yeah. I love that. I love that. And you brought up something that just kind of made me think of something. That journey of, like, where did that come up with for your parents or your family as a whole to say, you know what, we know that this is the path to becoming and that next thing for us, living a life of abundance in some way. Like, where did that come from? Right? Because in cultures, a lot of Latino cultures within the US también, and these are first generation immigrants, it's that idea that you're second class, and that mindset, right, tends to mess with a lot of the community. So how do you feel, like, where did you muster up that strength to say, no, I have an opportunity, I'm worthy of the life that I desire to build for myself?
Yeah, that's a great question. I truly believe that came from my grandmother and my mom. The upbringing, that the self-worth, the knowing that we are enough, the knowing that we deserve. And my grandmother was a farmer, and she had a second year education. She went up to second grade, but she was one of the most wise, intelligent human beings that I have ever been in front of. And she used to say, just because I have a second grade education doesn't mean that I am ignorant. She used to read, because she always knew, and that's something that she always taught me about abundance, and there is always more. Try one more time. There is, you deserve. So it came from her. It was my mom inherited that, and she passed that along to us. So I help middle school kids with that mentality. It's all in the mind. It's the way you think, and the way we act is the way we were brought up. And those belief systems that we have is because of what was programmed in our mind as when were being brought up by mostly our parents and teachers. And I always said that I have the unfair advantage of being born in the family that I was born. I really do. I have, it's a blessing to be born to Magdalena Colindres, my mother, that she instilling me that there is so much and go after it. But it's also, she also said to me that you have to work for it, that it won't come to it free. There is nothing in life free. If it's free, somebody else already paid for it. So it's the one thing, and that's something that I think you and I were talking about, that either you have it or you don't. However, I do believe in leading by example. And when you see people coming from humble beginnings and they can make it, I believe other people can look at that and say, if that person can do it, I can do it too. So you open up doors of possibilities for other people.
I love that you said that. And we have to look at that consistently, right? There's so much of, you know, just everything. I think so many of the great points that you have of just tapping into that fire. And yes, and it could be a little bit of the fuego from New Jersey, because Jersey has a little Nicaragua, a little Mexico, a little Jersey. um, but I love that. So how do you think, like, how did your family adapt to the cultural changes when they first got here? Like, what were the, those changes, the obstacles?
Well, the first barrier that we had was definitely language. We didn't speak English. And for me, it was even more difficult because I couldn't go to school. So I ended up teaching myself English with a program online. It wasn't online, it was actually on cassette, because I
Yeah,
couldn't go to school. So that was the biggest challenge. But right away, we embraced the American culture, because my mom, she's a teacher. And she always said that wherever you go, you need to adapt to that place. They don't have to adapt to you, because we're the newcomers. We need to adapt to that culture wherever we're going. So if English is the language spoken in the US, we needed to learn English, even though we live in a city in New Jersey that I would say 50% of the people that live there spoke Spanish. But we needed to be able to go to school, college, work. You have to speak the language. And then, hanging out with friends that were already Americans born in the US, that helped us. And we were younger, teenagers. It was
yeah,
easier to adapt to a new culture and way of seeing things. When you are younger, I think it's a little easier than when you come to the US and you're in your 30s, 40s, or 50s. When you're
yeah,
young, a lot easier
yeah.
for us to do that.
Yeah. Like I came to New Jersey when I was about 4 or 5 years old. And yeah, it was, the community, it's urban for the most part, right? They're urban communities. So it's a mix, and it's a lot of Latinos inside those communities. So what do you think were some of well, I know ideally from just kind of what you shared before, but like some of the obstacles, and like what advice would you give to people who are on a similar journey of some path, and they're trying to rebuild, or they get here, or like what are some like nuggets of wisdom that you could share with
Absolutely. I believe, well, barriers, like I said before, is definitely language, not understanding the culture,
them?
and unfortunately biases that we suffer. I am married to a Caucasian man from New Jersey, Jersey City, my husband, Joseph Esola. And we are in 2023, and sometimes people don't accept mixed couples, and so we deal with biases as well. So that is difficult, because I feel that as humans, we should embrace everybody and welcome diversity. I am the North Carolina Realtor chairwoman for diversity, equity, and inclusion. And one of the reasons why I got so involved with diversity, equity, and inclusion is to educate people, because I think people are, I don't want to use the word afraid, but don't comprehend differences. But when you educate people, then they understand. So diversity is so beautiful. It enriches us all, because we want to see different point of view. We want to experience other people that are different from music, and their backgrounds, where they came from, their backgrounds, not only in race but also careers, because that's how you see different point of view. And it opens up your mind to, again, different possibilities. So how do you overcome or the golden nuggets, as you say, I would say educate yourself for sure. Um, be very crystal clear. I always, when I talk to my friends, I said, do you know what you really, really want? And not only what you want, why you want it. So be very, very clear. For me, it's all about giving back because this country has been so great to myself and my family. And I am involved in different organizations. It's all about giving back to the community and serving the community as an example, and also with my time and finances as well. And so get involved with the community, educate yourself, know exactly what you want. What do you want? What do you want to achieve? It doesn't have to be financial. It doesn't have to be being number one in your career. It doesn't, but it could be that you want to be the person most known for helping in certain organization. Everybody's why is different, but I have found through conversations that a lot of people don't even know their why, and which is okay. It is okay because sometimes they haven't been exposed to that question. So know your what and know your why, because your why will pick you up when life hits you, because life will hit you. And when you know the reason why you're doing things, it will be like, okay, tomorrow will be a new day. I'm going to get it done. And that's how I did. I have been so successful in my life and career because Sandra, I've been knocked down multiple times. But it's not about being knocked down. It's like getting up and say, you know what, I can do it again. I'll try one more time, and have that mentality, what I call the one more time mentality. I'll do it one more time.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. So tell us, what is your why? Why do you feel so invested in the community, in building something, in leaving a legacy of
Thank
some
you.
sort?
Yes. So my why is I feel, we're 8 billion people in this world. And I strongly believe that we can change the world one person at a time. I cannot be all to everybody. I can't, but I can be all to one person. And I feel that I came here to impact the world. And like I like to say, leave a dent in the universe. It's what is people going to be saying when I leave a room? What are people going to be saying when they listen to this interview right here? What are they going to be thinking? I am hoping that I leave them move, touch, and inspire. That is my hope. But it is about what is it left of you in people, and did you do any good and left the world better than you found it? That's my project. Magda's project is like touching people's life in a different way, so I leave the world a better place for my children, my grandchildren, and generations to come. And I really believe if most of us thought that way, the world would be even a better place.
I agree. I agree. It's funny, when we were chatting at the table, you said something, and I grabbed my phone and I wrote it down. And I have a quote, so I still have it here. And it says, "I'm working on my legacy, what I leave in people."
Yes.
And I have your name on it. I'm like, as soon as you said it, and it hit me, and it's music, whatever was going on. And I'm like, let me write that down. That was so beautiful.
I
How
am.
you said it.
And I believe I mentioned my mentor, which is Lani Horton. I said, Sandra, I want to like Lani. Lani retired about 8 years ago. I believe 8 or 9 years ago. He has been my mentor in my career. And I always bring that man's name because he changed my life in my career. And I want my name to be mentioned, is Magda changed my life. I think if you do that, people will feel like I feel obligated because of he doing that for me. I feel obligated to life and to God to do that for other people because I believe that once again the world can be only changed one person at a time. We cannot be all to everybody, but we can be all to one person. And when you touch somebody's heart, then that person get inspired to touch somebody else's heart, and that's how we make this place a more beautiful place.
I love that. I love that. I used to always say, like when we think that we're in our lowest times, right? In moments in life, if you look around, everyone, is dealing with something, right? And we have more empathy and really understand that picking up our neighbor or a friend is really it heals all of us, right? On that journey. I love that. So be clear on where you want to go. Let's start. We got to get these down because we're
Yes,
gonna be clear on what you want, where you want to go. Have a direction. Have a vision. Um,
yes.
like
Not your wife.
number one, know your why.
Mhm.
Right? Why are you doing this? What is it that you want to see changed? In the world. What is it that you want to see changed within you or within the community that you're in? I love that. Have a mentor.
Mhm.
Right? I think that is so critical. Have a mentor and then mentor as many people as you can. Man, you dropped so many. All right, which one am I missing? I know there was a couple more. Um, but
Edu-
just
educate yourself.
educate yourself. Yep, love
Edu-
that.
yeah.
Educate yourself. That's so important, right? Personal development and really be invested. Audiobooks, read books. Attend. Things that are going to really give you that edge. I love that. What else are we missing? I think these are like awesome, awesome. And there's one thing that really, like, it's that bravery and that boldness in you, right? Like eso es something that and can you learn that? You can learn that.
I believe
But
when I once again leading by example, right?
yeah,
Because the in having that mentality of possibilities, that everything is possible. We have a choice. We get up every single morning with a choice. We are in one of the best, in Magda's opinion, we are in one of the best countries in the universe, and we get up every single morning with choices. I hear people complaining about their jobs. Do you have a choice to leave that job? You do. You don't have to go to that job that you dislike. It makes me sad to hear a statistic that said about 60 to 70% of Americans go to a job that they don't like.
yeah,
But it makes me sadder that they don't take the this or make the decision to change. I always say change. We're not, you can move. We're not a tree. Move. And so it's a mentality of possibilities. So I, if you get a hold of your mind, the way, your mind, the feelings and your feelings, I believe you become one of the most unstoppable person on the planet. Because it's all about feelings. People, we do act on feelings. I don't feel like it, or I felt like it. So if you get a hold of those feelings and the way you think, nothing will stop you. You become an unstoppable human being. That's my way of thinking.
yeah. No, and it's true, right? Because we are what we feel. We create the energy of whatever emotion we're carrying. So when you're in your oh well me, that's what you're going to perpetuate. If you're in the life is abundance mentality, then that's what you're going to attract to yourself.
I love what you just said. Create. Yes, we are the creators of our own lives. We really are, and we attract what we are. So if you want to change what you're attracting, all you have to do is change who you are. And once again, that goes back to the decision. What do you want? What do you want? And being clear what you want and why you want it. I think we all have to start there.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's like once we're clear on what we want, we have to, like, okay, who is the person that I need to become to get there, right?
Yes.
Because there's people like, oh well, I am the way I am. No, it doesn't. Well, quédate así, you know, right? But you're right. When we have a clear destination, we have to, like, okay, now what do I need to learn? Who do I need to be? What do I need to be mindful of habits that I do that I need to shift and I need to change? We have to self-evaluate all the time.
Yes. And Sandra, let me add to this that when you have that clarity, the people are start showing in your life.
Yeah.
It's incredible how that works. The right people will be starting, they will start showing in your life to help you propel to get what you want. Because we all are where we are because of other people. I stand in the shoulders of the 10,000. I am where I am because of the people that came behind and pushed me. to be where I am. But it took work, and nothing is free. It took work. You just have to do your assignment. Know your assignment. Know what you are here for, and go for it. I always said that we're all walking gifts. We are all walking gifts, and it is our obligation to unwrap that gift and give it back to the world. We are born full, and we need to die empty.
Mm.
We're here to give ourselves to the world. That's once again how I think.
I love that, and we got some agreeds in the chat. Hola, hello. I love that. We are born full, and we have to die empty.
Yes, we're here to give ourselves to the world, and
Yeah.
that there is such a it's self-fulfillment. It's so beautiful, you know.
Oh my gosh, Magda, I can talk to you like, I'm sure there's like whole hours of conversation that's just going to be beautifulness. That just, I love your story. I love just your energy.
Thank
I love it because it's like high energy, like me.
Absolutely. I'm so grateful to be here, Sandra, with you.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I love it. And I look forward to doing more things together.
Absolutely.
For sure. So, as we head to a close, you've shared so much already. I probably a little bit empty, but share any last thoughts, or let's, we didn't quickly talk, if you want to talk about your field and, ways for people to really connect with you and what you're doing in Charlotte.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I am, once again, in new construction in real estate, and I am in the Charlotte market. And the best way to communicate with me is via LinkedIn, Magda Esola. If you guys want to send me a private message to communicate, if you like a coaching session with me, I love to do that. But if I don't know if anybody has any questions, Sandra, I don't have access to that.
No questions, just some agreeds and yeah, just loving what you're saying, loving what you're sharing, because it's so inspiring. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I think there is, love for life. I believe that somebody asked me why I have achieved what I have achieved so quickly, but that wasn't quickly. It took about 15 years to get where I am. I've been in the business for over 22 years, but I always said, okay, my overnight success was really 15 years. And it boils down to gratitude and joy, because joy is something, that is inside and nobody can take it away. You might have a bad day, you might have a rainy day, you might have a really awful day, but that joy is still in you. Nobody can take it away. And sometimes people confuse happiness, which is instant, what I call microwave happiness, with joy. And happiness are the little moments, and that goes away, but joy is inside. So being joyful, strive for being joyful, and also gratitude. Be grateful. As soon as I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, every single morning, and the first thing I say is gracias. Gracias, Dios mío. Me abriste los ojos. I say in Spanish también. So thank you. Thank you, God, for opening my eyes, and thank you for my life. And then I start thanking for my people, my family, my ancestors. And I actually pray for my enemies too. So it's like you pray for everybody, and you express gratitude. And when you have that attitude of gratitude, I think what you appreciate, how in real estate we said this home appreciated 10%, or this home or this building appreciated 25%. And in life, it's the same. So if you appreciate a friendship, it grows. If you appreciate your job, it's better. If you appreciate like my new friend, Sandra, it gets better. So having that appreciation is gratitude. So I believe when you are grateful, in you attract just great things to your life. And having a positive mindset, and I know it's very difficult to have a positive mindset when you're going through struggle and despair. I know. I lost my dad when I was 9 years old. So I know pain. I know. I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm saying that you can get a hold of your mindset and choose the way you think. And once you choose the way you think, that will trigger the way you feel. And it's just that simple.
I am just so in love with you. Look, I love it. I love this session, Latinas Poder. When you have a heart of abundance, it spills over. Yes.
Yes.
Appreciate the small things. It changes our views of the world. Hope. Mm-hmm. Not Latinas in corporate America, not easy, but we must continue to create and expand diversity.
Absolutely.
Yes, yes, yes. That's a whole nother conversation. I know we're at time, but we forgot to touch on that. How can we do that? We need to schedule another one of these. Um,
Absolutely.
but Magda, I just truly enjoyed you. I know the audience truly enjoyed you, and just thank you for having a little cafecito with me. I know you're at a conference right now, but I'm just happy for this opportunity with you, and we look forward to more. So
Thank you so much for the invite. Bye bye.
thank you guys. Take care, and we'll see you
Take,
next week.
bye bye.